So just lift and roll the shoulders. Stretch up.
It's nice just doing that.
Just feet into the ground. And then breathing in, raise the right arm, stretch it up, and turn your head to the left, away from the right arm. And stay here for an in and an out breath. And then when you're ready, bring the head back to the centre, stretch up, and then breathing out, lower the arm. And then to the left, raise the left arm, stretch the left arm, press the left foot into the ground. This is the extension on your back movement. And when you're ready, breathe out, turning your head gently to the right, only as far as works for you. And when you're here, breathe in and out, stretching up. When you're ready, as you breathe in, bring the head back to the centre. And then when you next breathe out, taking your time, lower the left arm back down alongside you. Lift and roll the shoulders again, opening the energetic pathways beyond the collarbones up into the head. So it allows the prana to flow. Clasping the hands behind you, knuckles to the ground, open up under the collarbones. So that is opening the lung meridians. And just very gently turn slightly to the left. Your hands are slightly away from you. And if you're very yogic, your palms would be together. If they're open, don't worry. It's harder with your palms together. And then come to the centre, and then breathing out, turn to the right. And then come back to the centre and release the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders once more. And then breathing in, raise the right arm again, and just circle the wrists in one direction. It's also a brain hemisphere coordination, and then circle in the opposite direction, as well as being a wrist movement. And then lower the right arm, lift and roll the shoulders. As you raise the left arm, and again just circle in one direction. And then circle in the opposite direction. Stretching up and then lower. And then as you lift and roll your shoulders, step with your feet out a little bit. Raise the hands up so that you look like a star, stretching the palms up, lifting up away from your waist, away from your pubic bone. And then bring your hands to shoulder height, stretching out from the chest, the heart, uplifting for the mood. Really soften your knees and come forward, bending your knees as much as you need to hold your opposite elbows. And then depending on where your back is, you might like to keep your knees bent if you've got a stiff back, but if you haven't, then just lengthen your legs so that your sitting bones are high. You're pressing your weight down evenly with your feet, your inner legs are engaging, your sitting bones are like mountain peaks. And feel that you're lengthening from the chest, leading with the chest, and then just release forward. And as you breathe in, engage the perineum slightly, and breathing out, releasing it. So this is your forward bend. And then really soften your knees, drop your hands to the floor, and then roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. You can use your hands to help you on your ascent upwards. Your head's the last thing to come upright, lift and roll the shoulders. And then raising the arms again, take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, stretch your right wrist upwards and then over to the left. and stretches out your right side. But feel that your weight's even on both feet, because it's very easy then to let the weight drift onto the left foot. Try and bring the weight evenly on both feet. Come to the centre, stretch both hands up, and then take hold of your left wrist with your right hand and come over between. You feel that you're between two panes of glass. You're not twisting your hips downwards. You're keeping your hips open. And then stretching up with hands, and then just circle the wrists down. So that's your lateral stretch. And then breathing in, raise both hands up, reverse, and just turn to the left. You can just bounce in and out, your rotation. Come to the centre, stretching up with hands, and breathing out, turn to the right, your rotation to the other side. Come to the centre, stretch up with your palms. If you can with your chin, and only if your neck allows, just look up slightly, raising the eyes to your reversed hands. Bring your head upright, and then lower your hands, stretching them out as they go, and then just lowering them alongside you. And lift and roll your shoulders. Just place your hands on your waist and you're opening your lungs. Just take a couple of breaths, breathing in through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And then make the next one the last one. Release the hands. Raise the hands up again like your star, and then stretch out as you open your hands to the side. And you're going to come to a very familiar twist from side to side. Moving all your energies through the body. The Apana energy is at the base of the lower abdominal area around the base of the spine. The Samana energy goes from side to side around the navel area. The Prana pervades throughout the body, and Vyana is the fluid energy that goes around the joints in particular. And then your Apana energy is your upward flowing energy, which I've just been doing some work on Parkinson's, is the energy that's very affected with people, anyone with Parkinson's. It's your upward Udana energy, so sound and mantra and singing bowls and hummingbird breath, very helpful there. And Alzheimer's is different again, all the dementias, but it's not dissimilar in that this movement, although by that stage I don't suppose your mum could do this, could she? But it would be very...
She does join in, they have a very gentle one that they just, because obviously she's in the wheelchair and she can't stand up obviously, so they do everything in hands and but she does sort of do a bit. Yeah, she quite likes it. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, there's something deep down inside that
Responds.
yes.
Did you see that ballerina who had Alzheimer's? And although she's completely gone, they played something from Swan Lake to
And
her.
she started to dance.
And she started to dance in the chair.
Amazing. It's just, I think there's just something very deep rooted there, which other things can go. But
Yeah, that
just
kind of stays.
It's like my mum, she can't talk very much, but when they start playing old songs, she starts singing.
Isn't that strange? Yeah. And then just come to, they've said in the yoga training that there's more than just your body, there are other layers, and the memory, it's only one part of you, and the mind that gets affected, but the other memory, which is what you're saying, the sound in particular doesn't go.
Yes, it's a bit like the parasympathetic system and the parasympathetic, isn't it?
Yes.
one works only when you think about it, and the other just works automatically.
Automatically.
Like that,
This is strange, isn't it?
yeah.
And then just very, very gently come to sitting, legs out, and we'll come to lying. I'm having groans here, Charlotte.
Sorry, Charlotte.
I don't know if you can hear the groans and the huffs and puffs here.
I probably sound like a 90-year-old here. God, totally. I feel like one.
I was talking to a friend because Mum's had problems with it, not neighbours, but anyway. And James said, well, my mum got ripped off on a taxi fare, got shouted at by the taxi driver, didn't pay the rip-off price, and so he put a fat butt on her. And she's now frightened to go to sleep in case something bad happens to her.
Goodness sake. But it's working. That means the fat one's working.
They're working, yes.
That's all it is. Because if somebody believes it, then it works.
The trouble is, when you're 90-something,
Yeah, I know, of course.
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It doesn't.
But that's what they're all about. That's like voodoo. You know, if you
Yes.
believe in it, then
It
happens.
It happens. So just bounce your. Oh God, I tell you who's into voodoo. What's the one that's more? There's voodoo, which is like black magic, and there's white magic, which is.
Yeah,
It's
supposed to be.
There's another one, and
Yeah.
Jules is very into that.
It's supposed to be good, isn't it? I mean, that's
Well, Adriana couldn't get rid of her husband. That was my next door neighbour, and Jules said, "Get her to me. I will put some hoodooy things on her." And Adriana didn't really believe it, but she did what Jules said, and Barry went within 2 days.
Well,
He
it's
left the
belief.
house.
It's some.
He didn't know
somebody-
that she'd done it. He didn't know that she'd done it.
She was
She
producing
Magic.
something. Yeah.
just circle your ankles. The warring couple next door, Charlotte, when Jamie was down at uni in Bristol, and my neighbour, we were out, Jamie was in Bristol, circle your ankles the other way, said, was everything all right at home? And I was completely bewildered, we'd been out in London, and the next door neighbours, warring couple, had some massive spat, and ended up, I think he said 7 police cars turned up outside our house. So the whole close believes that Jamie is some kind of nightmare, well he was, but not that bad. And then just bounce your legs and just rub and pat your legs. And we're going to, once you've finished patting and rubbing and all of that, we're going to lie on the floor, which is unusual. I'll try not to step on my glasses. And stretching out, we're going to just lying on the floor, stretch the heels away from you, and then extend your left leg, extend your left heel, and raise your left arm up and above you, stretching out as we did when we were standing. But just notice if there's any difference lying from standing. And then with your left arm outstretched and your left heel is stretched, just turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right, away from your left arm. And just taking an in and an out breath. You can always better feel the stretch under the arm, but if that's too strong, then just bend your elbow so that the stretch isn't quite so pronounced under the arm. And then bring your head back to the centre and just lower your left arm, just relax your left foot out to the side, release any tension. And then of course we're going to extend the right foot, right heel, engage the legs, the muscles on either side of the leg. And then you next breathe in, raise your right arm above you, the back of the hand might be on the ground, you can bend your right elbow. And breathing out, turn your head to the left, away from the right arm. So it's exactly what we did standing up, we're doing it lying down. Just see if you prefer this, or if
It's a different stretch.
it's a different stretch. And yet it should be the same, shouldn't it? But it's different.
No, it's stronger under the arm.
And then just bring your head back to the centre, and when you next breathe out, lower your right arm and just let the right foot fall out and release any muscle hold that you've had. Just start by gently rolling the head from side to side, and again, we do this so often standing up with the neck, but by letting the head relax onto the earth, or the mat, the ground, you're letting some muscles relax, because the head's not being asked to kind of hold or tighten muscles. And then just bring your head to the centre. And very, very gently bend your left knee and hug your left knee into the chest. If you feel that this stretch is too strong for you, with the right leg extended along the ground, then you've always got the option to bend your right knee and place your right foot on the floor, which allows you to flatten your back higher up. And that might feel nicer, but it's a choice. It's just totally personal. So this is working on the Apana energy, and this is a pose called Apanasana. And we were covering that in Parkinson's, you'd know this, Charlotte, that various symptoms crop up. But one of the early symptoms with the muscles being rigid and the control of the muscles changing, but constipation can be one of the early signs. But of course, people can be constipated for a whole range of things. And Apana is what they're doing, is the complete solution for constipation, as it gets the lower abdominal energy moving. And just enjoying that hugging in of the left knee into the chest. And then very gently extend the left leg up to the ceiling, holding beneath or below the left thigh. And just extend the foot and point the toes a couple of times. And then circle the ankle a few times in one direction, the left ankle that is. And circle a few times in the opposite direction. And then just stretch the toes out, stretching out underneath the toes where they meet the body of the foot, so which is part of your lung meridian reflex, on the reflex points of the feet. And then just walk your hands up the back of your left leg, bringing the left leg towards you, stretching out the back of the left leg. And then hugging the left knee into the chest. Hug the right knee into the chest. So both knees are hugged into the chest. And the knees are slightly apart. Let both knees drift away to arm's length. Open the knees into a wide V, almost circling them, so that they meet back, hugging the knees into the chest together. Let the knees together drift away to arm's length. Then open the legs in a V and circle them back in, up into the chest. So you're doing that a few times. It's an alternative to moving the top of the leg in the hip socket, femur in the hip socket. And going slowly, you can decide how, when your legs drift away from you, you rock a little bit along the spine. So the more you let your knees drift away, the further along your tailbone you'll move. So it's all open to a certain amount of flexibility. Opening the legs is giving a little bit of space at the lower lymphatic system, at the groin area, as we've opened up under the arms. And then the knees next hug in together. Open the knees when they're tight into the chest, and then circle them so that they meet with arms away from you. Bring the knees, you're reversing your circle, bring the knees in, open the knees wide, and then circle so that they meet at the top. You're just reversing the rotation of the femur in the hip socket. It's a very gentle and simple way to maintain hip mobility. And make the next one the last one. And then hug the right knee into the chest and let the left foot connect to the earth. And you choose whether you want your left knee bent or whether you want your left leg extended along the ground. as you hug your right knee into the chest. Apanasana on the right side. Again, this is really helpful for the hip health. You can feel the stretch all around the hip. And then dropping your hands to underneath your right thigh, begin to extend the right leg up to the ceiling and extend the right heel and point the right toes a couple of times. And then circle the right ankle in one direction, and then circle the right ankle in the opposite direction. And then begin to walk the hands up the back of the right leg, bringing the right leg, you can be bent at the knee towards you. Wherever your hands stop, that's fine. Feel a stretch along the back of the right leg. And then very gently bend the right knee back into the chest. Hold the right knee with the right hand and bend the left knee, bringing that into the chest, holding the left knee with the left hand. And have your knees slightly apart so you're missing your tummy. And just very, very gently rock from side to side. You can almost rock over onto the top or onto the back of your upper arm. So you really are rocking across your back, and particularly you'll find the lower back as well. The back of the head is connecting to the earth, so you're getting a massage also across the back of the head. And I mentioned Apanasana, and I mentioned constipation. So any elderly relatives with constipation, if they can't lie on the floor, they can sit in a chair and hug the knee in, but I do appreciate that sometimes that might also not be possible. But coming to hugging the knees into the chest, you can do this one leg at a time, but we're going to do both. Let both knees extend away to arm's length as you breathe in. And naturally, as you breathe out, you hug the knees into the chest. And just carry on a few times in your own breath pattern. If you ever want to get energy moving and you're stuck and stiff and sore in your lower abdominal, lower back area, that tends to slug up your digestive system and cause constipation as the muscles kind of are stiff and nothing's moving. This is a very happy, gentle, moving asana for constipation. Constipation directly links to your lower apana, foundational energy. It's holding on to things, not letting go of the past, not going with the flow. So just a few times in your own breath pattern. Hugging in and just then letting drift away. Very helpful for lower back issues as well. And then we're going to gently come on to a pose, a variation of this, which is very much used in the teaching of long COVID and ME and chronic fatigue. So having the knees hugged into the chest, as you breathe in, just raise the left leg loosely to the ceiling, to the sky, and your left arm loosely goes up and behind you. You can extend your left heel. Your left arm can be bent at the elbow. It might connect with the floor, it might not. Take an in and an out breath here. And when you breathe in, as you next breathe out, hug the left knee back into the chest. And then bringing your attention to the right side, when you next breathe in, raise your right arm up and slightly behind you. Can be bent at the elbow, extend your right heel, your right leg up to the ceiling. Just taking it in and out breath. And then breathing out, hug the right knee into the chest, lowering the right arm. And come once more to do each side in your own breath pattern, raising the left arm and left foot to the ceiling. And breathing out, hugging the knee into the chest. And breathing in, raising the right arm, right leg, stretching out. And breathing out, hugging the knee into the chest. And then just sliding the hands down the shins so that the knees open once more in a V. And just hold either your ankles or above your ankles. The big toes are not joined, but your big toe joints are vaguely looking at each other. And you'll feel a stretch in your inner groin. So that's opening, it's allowing blood flow again into the lower abdominal area. It's Baddha Konasana, where we have sit up and have the soles of the feet together. But in this pose, supine Baddha Konasana, or a variant of it, because supine Baddha Konasana, you can also have your feet on the ground. These are off the ground. Just allows you to open your inner thighs in a slightly different way again. So just taking an in and an out breath here. And before we move off from our backs, we're just going to look at an inversion. So if you've got long arms, you can hold your big toes and stretch your legs up to the sky and open them in a V. If you haven't got long arms, just slide your hands to underneath your thighs, maybe clasping them, and just raise your feet to the ceiling, supporting your legs underneath. I'm clasping my hands. As I said, if you've got long arms and you want to hold your big toes, and then open your legs into a V, you can do that. It's called your inner goddess pose. Or you can hold the backs of your legs further down behind the calves, just anything to support you. And clasp your hands, just swaying gently from side to side. So in the yogic world, an inversion balances the endocrine system, so all hormonal balance. Legs up the wall is very helpful, supported with cushions and whatever, alters your perspective. And then just very gently hugging the knees into the chest. And we're going to come to a very gentle seated position. So in your time, roll to the side, or if you want to rock up. Hopefully by now, you've stretched out enough to be able to tolerate sitting in cross-legged position. If that's not good for you, then sit with your legs out. And just very gently lengthen your body, just connect your hands to the earth, so lengthen up. Again, lifting from the chest is uplifting for the mood. And hands on the knees, as you breathe in, just stretch your body. Breathe out, curl in, chin to chest. Breathing in, sitting up. Maybe lift your chin. Optional, breathing out, chin to chest. Just a couple of times in your breath pattern, breathing in and breathing out. So we're warming through the spine. Chin to the chest activates the vagus nerve. It's very calming for the nervous system. And make the next one the last one. And just for a nanosecond, connect the fingertips together, Hakini Mudra. Very good for activating your thought process and creativity. Just look at the fingertips as you take an in and out breath. Focus your attention. People often do this naturally. And then just release your hands, and you're going to coming onto the hands and knees in cat-cow. Breathing in, dipping the back, looking up. Breathing out, rounding the back, chin to chest. As you dip the back to look up, you can optionally tap the toes under, opening up the lung meridians. That is an option. And then as you round the back, press the tops of the toes into the ground. Dipping the back. And round. And then coming back to that sense of moving the energy at the lower level, maybe have your knees fractionally wider apart as you just sway your bottom from side to side, like a half moon sort of semicircle. And if you want to, you can sway your head to look over your shoulder. Normally your hips go one way in a semicircle and your head goes in the opposite direction. However you want to do that's fine. You're just really working through the spine, gently moving the neck. Your heart's parallel to the ground, so it's quite restful for the heart, and the back of the neck should be long, so you're not straining your neck in any way. And then we're going to tuck our toes underneath, and we're going to come to standing, but if you don't want to come via downward dog, then just come and roll up to standing, however that works for you. But otherwise, just come to a soft downward dog, lengthening the spine, lengthening the feet. Walk the dog by bending one knee, extending the other heel, and then bending the other knee, extending the other heel. Once more each time. Extend both heels, and then walk your feet to your hands to your feet, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders, and when you're up, turn your head to the left, come to the centre and turn your head to the right, and back to the centre. So both with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, balance seems to be very challenging. I'm not going to suggest a balance where we're going to wobble around, but just a very simple balance by bringing the hands to the heart centre, circling the hands up, clasping and reversing the palms upwards, and then just lift the heels. So balance has the purpose of asking the brain hemispheres, as my understanding is, to coordinate with one another. It's also a mindfulness exercise because you can't think of very much while you're doing it. And then gently lower the heels, and then lower the hands. And then lift and roll the shoulders. And then stepping with the left foot forward a little bit, right foot out at about 45 degrees. Lift and roll the shoulders. And try to keep the hips facing forward, which I find almost impossible. Make a fist with the right hand, right thumb extended, and circle the arm forward, looking up at your right thumb a couple of times. This is a shoulder, neck, and eye exercise and mindfulness. And then reverse your circle so that you end up lifting and rolling your shoulder back so it resets the shoulder in the correct position. There are different traditions in yoga, and one of them likes to roll forward first and then set the shoulders back to last, so that your shoulders are always set in the correct position, but traditions vary. Step your left foot back, Lift and roll both shoulders and then step forward with your right foot. Left foot is about 45 degrees. Maybe have your right foot out to the right more if you want to balance. And make a loose fist with your left hand, circling forward, raising, following your thumb movement with your eyes. As I said, I find it very difficult not to twist my hips back. You're supposed to keep your hips forward. And then when you're ready, reverse the circle so that your arm goes back. All right. And just one more time. And then just release, step back with your right foot. Lift and roll your shoulders. Raise both hands up. Join the thumbs together and swaying palm tree. So this again is very helpful in Ayurveda, which is the medicine side of yoga, for balancing Vata. Vata is responsible for, if Vata is out of sync in the body, it's only Vata is responsible for pain. So the swaying palm tree is really helpful. And then very gently coming to the centre. And then lowering the arms. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then the arms come up and out as you breathe in. And then breathing out. Palms down as you breathe in, palms out. Come back. And then lower the arms. Breathing in, arms come up and out. Back. Palms down. Back. And down. And again, breathing in, up and out. Back. Palms down. Back. And lower. Breathing in and out. Back. Down. Back. And lower. We'll make the next one the last one. Out. Back. Down. Back. And lower. Lift and roll the shoulders. Palms at the heart centre. And bend the knees. We come gently down to the mat, sitting with legs out in front. So instead of lying on our tummies and doing Sphinx, we're going to do it sitting up, which is softer on the body, flesh out from under the bottom, hands to either side. Technically, you should do Dandasana, four fingers pointing forward, but just relax with your hands. And just lift the chest, slightly look up. So this, if you were lying on your tummy, this, you would be lifting your chest. It's classified as a back bend, but lifting the chest is very elevating for the mood. Controlled lifting of the chin is fine. It's when you throw your head back that can be so tricky. And then just bringing your head to upright. Have your legs wider now into your knee. Hands up, just connect your thumbs, just sway from side to side to lift your body out and away from your waist. Come to the centre, bend your elbows and then just slide your hands down your legs. Feel that you're leading with your chest, which extends your back, and then just relax forward. And wherever your hands come on your shins, that's fine, it's a forward bend. You can extend your heels to activate the legs, muscles, particularly the inner legs. And if your hands are long, you can get hold of your big toe with your second and third finger underneath your thumb on the top, but just whatever only reflects your anatomy, how long your arms are. Coming forward like this is calming for the nervous system, but you've got to be careful with back issues that you're not coming too far forward, so just find a position that's comfortable with you, for you. If anybody had a herniated disc, coming forward can then exacerbate the kind of oozing, but I don't think any of us is in that position. So a soft forward gentle bend is very nice. The chin connecting towards the chest activates the vagus nerve, which is anti-inflammatory. The back of the neck is long, so blood can flow up into the head. And then just very, very gently slide the arms up. Come to a seated position. Again, if you don't like crossing your legs, you don't have to. You can just come up, but just then come to a comfortable position. And then just for a moment, resting the hands on the knees, just sitting up. Once more, looking to the left as you breathe in, right as you breathe out. Breathing in, turning to the left, you're also balancing the brain hemispheres. Breathing out as you turn to the right. And you're also balancing the thyroid and the parathyroid. If you really wanted to focus on that, you'd be doing this about 50 times. And you can almost feel the sort of balance. We're very much a lot of fluid in us. We're a very high percentage, is it 70% water? So by a gentle sway from side to side with the neck like this, it's just very balancing. And then if you wanted to balance up the other part of the metabolic glandular balance, it's the pituitary pineal. So bring your head to the centre. With caution, just subtly lift your chin, raise your eyes to the top of the forehead, through the eyebrows, and breathing out, chin comes to chest. Stretching the back of the neck. Breathing in, just slightly look up, and breathing out, chin to chest. And breathing in, subtly looking up. Again, you would do this about 50 times if you really wanted to balance all those thyroid, parathyroid, side to side, pineal, and pituitaries up and down. And then bring the head to the centre. Just take your fingers to the centre of the forehead and just draw the fingers lightly across, coming off at the temples. And just do that a couple of times, fingers together at the centre, just almost pulling back, drawing away, connecting into the third eye. And then just raise your hands a little bit higher to the hairline and just pull your fingers away from one another, coming over the head to the ears. And then a little bit back so that the fingertips are meeting at the fontanelles almost, and then just coming over again. Then you might want to just draw your fingers down the back of the head, anywhere where you feel that you'd like to linger with your head. We tend to forget about our heads, all those little dents. Very soothing. So we're now rooted in the Saraswara, the crown chakra, where we're supposed to connect our personal energy to the universal energy. And then just releasing the hands to the lap, either hands down in Dhyana Mudra, hands up in Dhyana Mudra, second finger to thumb, or just resting your left hand in your right palm, whatever works for you. And just take a moment to have a thought for the day for yourself, or for anybody, or any nation. Very current at the moment, of course. But just have a thought for whatever, whoever. And then the intention's been set, let that thought go. And then protection for yourself for the day ahead. We mentioned negativity, so wrapping yourself in a mental cotton wool candy floss or a bubble, choosing your favourite colour for today, and let only positive energy in and negative energy out, and negative energy can't come back in again. So just wrap yourself in your colour of today's, your colour choice for today, conferring protection on you and your loved ones for the day ahead. And then just let that thought go. Bring your hands to your heart, chin to chest, taking a bow for yourself for the day ahead. And then